Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2010 Lexus LS460. Up front is a 4.6 liter V8, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this LS460 for two reasons. First of all, I love Lexus products, and I think that this is one of the last really good LSs because it has that naturally aspirated V8, of which by the end of the 2010s they had moved away from and turned for a twin-turbo V6. The second reason is that this is a really well-kept example. It has just under 100,000 miles, which for a Lexus is barely broken in. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 4.6 liter V8 up front. Well, that is the evolution of the UZ engine from Lexus. Back in the early 90s, it started off as a 4-liter, and they increased it to the 4.3, and this is its final form at 4.6. Now, you could find these in a hybrid, the LS660H. However, this is the non-hybrid, and personally, this is probably the way that I would go. This engine has proven itself to be incredibly reliable. It's simple, it doesn't have any gadgets or gizmos, it's just a nice, comfy V8. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is one of the first production cars to actually get an 8-speed. To throw it into perspective, Toyota, Lexus's owner, maker, whatever, they were still using a 4-speed automatic until 2019 in the Toyota Yaris. So this was pretty ahead of its time with its 8-speed, it's buttery smooth, it's really enjoyable, and it's a very nice ride. Last but not least, this LS460 is all-wheel drive. However, the base models of the LS could be had in rear-wheel drive, or if you selected that option. So this is the all-wheel drive. The owner says it's amazing in the snow. He absolutely loves it, but rear-wheel drive is an option. How does it feel to drive the Lexus LS460? It's so nice. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's just in the background of your mind. And that's what a luxury car should be. It doesn't need to make a statement. It's not trying to be in your face. It's not going to scream at you or spit on you. This is just a luxury car. Everything is supple, everything is smooth, everything is calm. Now, this car would have air ride suspension and you could change it between sport and comfort. However, that has been removed by a previous owner. Fixing it can get very, very pricey. So what often happens is that it'll break. The owner doesn't want to pay the thousands of dollars to get the air suspension fixed, so they'll opt for more traditional strut options. The steering is a little bit heavy. I will say that's the most unfriendly part of the drive, but it's not bad. It's not like a lead door. It's just a little bit heavier, and you know what? At higher speeds, that gives you a lot of confidence. It does have electric power steering, which is nice, so I'm a big fan. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer. Off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. And then in the center, I do get a little digital screen giving me some information about the car. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our source and mode. And off to the right, we have our phone options and our display and reset, as well as cruise control to the bottom right. To the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our power mirror switches, as well as our auto folding mirrors. We have eco mode, heated steering wheel, and our parking sensors on and off. And then way down below, we do have our gas cap release and trunk release. And moving on to the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats. Our seatbelt shoulder adjustment. This is a staple of the LS's, but I rarely find them in other cars. So if you cut to the in-car camera, as you can see over my shoulder, you can actually adjust the seatbelt mounting point on the wall. So if you're a little bit shorter or taller, it's not going to cut into your neck. A really nice luxury feature that a lot of brands overlook. But moving down the door, we do have our lock and unlock and power windows. Moving into the center, we have a little digital clock, climate control vents, as well as our hazard switch. Then we do have a touchscreen infotainment with built-in navigation. This was kind of a big deal for 2010, where people were still using TomToms and Garmin's that were poorly suction cupped to the windshield. This had it all built in and integrated. You didn't need those extra wires. That's very nice. This does also have a backup camera. It's not the best backup camera I've ever used. However, this was 8 years before the government legally required them, so to have a backup camera at all was a very nice luxury. We also do have our climate controls dual zone temperature here in the LS460. You get a nice digital readout for that, and of course, our CD player that is hooked up to the Mark Levinson sound system. Love this system. They still use this system in modern Lexuses, and they've used it all the way back into the 90s, so it's pretty good. Then we do have an openable cubby, not an ashtray, but a cubby. And then off to the left, we have our shifter, surrounded by this wood accent. Really love this. I like the darker red accent. Some people don't, but I personally do. And down below that, we have our power and snow modes for the transmission, traction control, and our suspension adjustments for sport, comfort, and height high, which would basically raise the vehicle as high as it could go if you need to clear an obstacle or speed bump. Now, of course, like I mentioned, these don't work on this current car because that system has been deleted for reliability. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the LS430, and unfortunately, yet pretty predictably, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have buttons for the heated and ventilated seats. Very nice for 2010. We also have our rear sunshade and rear heated seat buttons. We do get a nice sliding opening center console. Love to see that. And the seats. The seats are really comfortable. You sink into them, and it's very hard to find luxury seats like this post 2008. The first thing that happened with the financial crisis, well, after everyone lost their homes, was comfy seats went away. And I don't think that we've really seen a comeback of that since that era, at least on a wide scale. So I'm very happy to see these really comfortable seats that made it through the financial crisis and are here in the LS460. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, we're in the back of the 2010 Lexus LS460. And a couple of things to note. First of all, down below, we do have a 12-volt outlet and 2 climate vents. We do have little holders on the doors that are not ashtrays. Again, they're very stringent on telling you that. We do have a center console that folds down as well. We have cup holders that pop out, but you can also open this and you'll find your heated seat operations for the back seat back here and the rear power sunshade that still works. Very cool luxury feature in the back of the LS460. Now, in the era, you also could have gotten the executive seat package for the back of the LS460. Now, I have reviewed a car with that executive seat package. I'll leave that linked at the end of this video if you want to check that out. It's a really cool package, not necessary, but definitely very cool, and was offered on the longer wheelbase options. However, speaking of space, it's not a very good segue. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the LS460, we do have a button here on the key fob. Press and hold, and it will pop the trunk up. It is a power-operated trunk, so as you can see, it has these big struts for that. Once we are back here, apparently it's Cargo Net Palooza, because we have, I guess, technically 2 here and a 3rd here. But as you can see, past that cargo net, we have tons of space. There's pass-throughs as well. Absolutely love this. Now, that is a big difference between this and the hybrid. If you do get the 600 hybrid with the executive seat package, you actually lose quite a bit of trunk space. So this is a really nice amount to see. Any big sedan, I would want a lot of trunk space, and the LS460 definitely delivers that. To close it up, we just push this button. Power operated right back down. Absolutely love to see that. Really cool stuff. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I'm kind of torn on the look of this. First of all, I don't think it's very exciting. I don't think it's very cool or interesting to look at. However, on the flip side of that, and the side that I align with a little bit more, is the fact that I like that it's relatively understated. You're not trying to make a statement anytime you pull up to Aldi to get those awesome peanut butter cups. Not every drive is going to be a red carpet event, and that's okay here in the LS460. You don't need to make a statement everywhere you go, and so this kind of has that stealth wealth appeal. You look at it and you're like, oh, it's an old Lexus, whatever, but you don't know how well the driver is doing. They have the heated and ventilated seats and the backup camera and all of this stuff. So I like that appeal of it. It's very understated, especially compared to the modern counterparts. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Lexus LS460 for today's video? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about geography, but first let's talk about the LS460. This car is incredibly nice. The features that you get, the ride quality, the power, the comfort, it's all just a complete package. And for a used car, sure, you're still going to be paying upper teens, low 20s for this. 15 years later, I think you get your dollars and pennies worth. It's a solid car, it does solid things, and it's just so good. You cannot go wrong with buying a Lexus LS product. But why did I say we were going to talk about geography? Well, I am filming this video here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, previous home to AMC and Chrysler. AMC used to have an engine manufacturing plant here, and it was the livelihood of the town. It has since been removed and demolished, and there are many reasons for it. One of which, though, is this: the Lexus LS460. Maybe not the 460 in general, but Japanese automakers. This car is so well built, so well done, so great at everything it sets out to do with its comfort and ride and V8. This car out-Americaned us Americans. What we were able to put out in this era, honestly, doesn't even hold a candle to what this is. Sure, we had Lincoln Town cars, and they were comfortable and special and rear-wheel drive. But in terms of overall build quality, no one could touch Toyota or Lexus. This car feels so solid. Never have I ever driven a Lexus with hanging, dangling panels or weird misfires. And so, quite frankly, the Japanese automakers ran AMC out of Kenosha. Now, AMC wasn't specifically a luxury brand, but the overall themes of it. This car is better than any American luxury car that you could buy from the same era. And I will put money on that. The dignity this car has, the features, and just build quality. Build quality is what sets this apart. I'm sure the town car was probably faster. I'm sure that there were many other options with the town car that maybe made it better or nicer, whatever. But the build quality, the heart and soul of this is just more pure. It's more straightforward. It's more honest. It doesn't need a blingy, flashy grille to make you like it. It doesn't need to wow you or impress you. It's just good for the sake of being good. And that's how I feel about this car. It's fantastic, it's wonderful, and honestly, I don't think many, if any, car brands in this era could even come close to what this is. It's peak luxury, and it can be yours for not a whole lot of dollars. And that's really nice to see. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nick for letting me borrow his Lexus LS460 for today's video. What an absolutely amazing vehicle. Nick has been wonderful to work with, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.